Okay, so what if, like, solving all the world's biggest problems meant we had to, like, give up the things that kind of make us?
Yeah.
Like all our differences and stuff.
It's a pretty big question.
Yeah, and that's kind of what we're looking at today.
Yeah.
In this deep dive, we're going to be looking at this project called the Reef.
The Reef, yeah.
It's by this designer, Payne.
Okay.
And they're looking at this, like, this kind of, like, dilemma, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
What if we could fix everything, but everyone had to be kind of the same?
Like a monoculture, sort of? Like a
Yeah, exactly.
global monoculture.
And so what I think is really cool about the Reef is that it's like, okay, so, like, imagine that, like, quantum computing gets so good.
Yeah.
That, like, we can basically manage all of the resources in the world perfectly.
Like, perfectly. Down to, like,
Right.
the last grain of rice.
Yeah. And so, like, there's no scarcity. Everyone
Right.
has all their basic needs met.
Like, Maslow's hierarchy is taken care of
Yeah.
for everybody.
But, like, is that actually a good thing?
Right, because, like, the assumption is that everyone's needs and, like, how to fulfill those needs
Yeah.
would be sort of standardized
Yeah.
or homogenized.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So, like, it's this idea that, okay, so we fix all these material problems.
Right.
But then it creates this other problem.
Yeah, like a cultural flattening or something.
Yeah, exactly. And, like, so Rowan Payne, they're from Barbados.
Okay. Interesting.
And I think they use that as kind of like their
own personal lens.
Yeah, like a lens to view this through.
Yeah.
And they're saying that, like, okay, so the Reef is this idea of a quantum archive.
Okay.
That would, like, hold all of these memories and traditions of all of these cultures.
I mean, that's kind of, it's a fascinating idea. It's like, it's almost like, okay, so we're going to give up all of this amazing cultural diversity, but we'll keep a record of it.
Yeah. So, but then the question is, like, is that enough?
Right. Like, is it enough to just have the record versus, like, the lived experience?
Yeah, exactly. Like, like, you could read a recipe.
Okay.
But is that the same as, like, having your grandma cook it for you?
Yeah, totally. It's like the difference between looking at a picture of a place and actually being there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And, and I think that's, like, what Payne is really trying to get at with this project.
Yeah, and it sounds like they put a lot of thought into it. You said they have diagrams and models and stuff?
Yeah, like, they really went deep with this.
Cool.
And they're really trying to get us to think about the emotional side of this kind of progress, right? Like, okay, so it's great that we solve, like, all these problems.
Right.
But, like, what if it also means that, like, we lose?
We lose ourselves in a way.
Yeah. Like, we lose the things that, like, make us feel connected to something bigger than ourselves.
It's like, it almost sounds like a science fiction dystopia in a way.
Yeah, it kind of does, right?
But, like, rooted in reality.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's a real question to be asking.
So, I mean, I think for me, like, the big question that this raises is, like, what would you be most worried about losing?
Like, about my own culture.
Yeah. Like, if this future that Payne is envisioning, if it came true, like,
that's a good question. I'd have to really think about it.
Yeah, it's like, it's kind of a scary thought, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
but it's also, I think, like, really important to think about.
Yeah, absolutely, because, like, the future is coming whether we like it or not.
Yeah.
And I think it's better to be prepared for it.
Yeah.
And to think about these kinds of questions now.
Yeah.
Before it's too late.
Exactly. Well, thank you all so much for joining us on this deep dive into the Reef.
Yeah, this was really, really interesting.
We'd love to hear your thoughts on this. It's a complicated issue, and we want to keep the conversation going.
Yeah, please share this with other people. Let's get people talking about it.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's important.
So until next time, take care.
See ya.